Support for the Leadoff on WGLT and WGLT.org comes from the Central Illinois Regional Airport, where Florida beaches are one flight away. Featuring nonstop service on Allegiant Airlines to Tampa St. Pete and Orlando Sanford from Bloomington. Close, convenient, CIRA. More at CIRA.com.
State Farm informs its employees about a new voluntary exit program. It's one of the things you need to know to start your day for Thursday, September 4th. I'm Ryan Denham, and this is WGLT's The Leadoff. Now let's lead off with students at Leroy High School, who learned about how to stay safe with all that farm equipment on the roads this time of year. As WGLT K-12 correspondent Braden Fogerson reports, the advice they got can come in handy for the rest of us as harvest nears.
The McLean County Farm Bureau held a Rural Route Safety Day for Leroy's newest drivers to learn about the heavy machinery they may see throughout the harvest season. Junior Claire Coopers has already started driving. She says local farmers brought a semi-truck, a sprayer, and a combine to the school just to show the sheer size and lack of visibility a farmer is dealing with when on the road.
If you can see their mirrors, they can see you. But if you can't see their mirrors, they can't see you. So you need to give them enough space so they can see you, they know you're there. So they might pull over, but if they don't have room to pull over, you just need to wait.
Megan King is a farmer from Cooksville, a rural village east of Bloomington Normal. She taught students how to safely pass a combine.
Wait, can I go up right after you, Lena? Yeah, just come.
And invited them to head into the cab to see what a driver can and can't see.
We try and show them physically, once they get in the machine, how far back they need to be and talk to them about, how bad it can be if you are in an accident in a piece of equipment like this, because unfortunately, these pieces of equipment are a lot bigger than cars.
And a representative from Country Financial spoke with students about insurance claims that are made when accidents happen. I'm Braden Fogerson.
Here are some other stories we're following in the WGLT newsroom. The Illinois State Board of Elections said this week it will not hand over to the Trump administration a copy of the state's complete unredacted voter registration database. It's citing state laws that require the agency to protect voters' sensitive personal information. The board's lawyer says releasing the data would expose Illinois voters to unnecessary risks. Police departments in Bloomington and Normal say they have not shared any data collected with their license plate cameras with immigration officers. The Secretary of State, Lexi Giannoulias, says camera company Flock did share such data in Illinois. Bloomington police are investigating 2 serious crashes involving motorcycles in just the last 4 days. They both happened on Veterans Parkway, one Tuesday night, the other on Sunday night. And the McLean County Museum of History and Country Financial are partnering for 2 events this fall, marking the company's 100th anniversary. The first one is a lecture by museum librarian Bill Kemp coming up on September 16th. You can find more on these stories at WGLT.org. State Farm has informed its employees of a new voluntary exit program. In an email obtained by WGLT, the insurer says if and when changes are needed, the company will start with voluntary staff reductions whenever possible, but did not rule out the possibility for what the insurer calls involuntary exits. A State Farm spokesperson says the move is intended to give its employees more choice when business areas need to make staffing adjustments. The company is not saying when staff changes are coming and how many jobs could be eliminated. Jerry Glombicki is an insurance industry analyst with Fitch Ratings. He tells WGLT's Eric Stock that it's a tumultuous time in the insurance industry, and State Farm is not immune.
Every insurance company is facing challenges in terms of expense and people management, particularly as new technologies, particularly AI, comes into place and what that means for their workforce. So I think a lot of companies are looking at this as a way to not necessarily do layoffs, but maybe offer early retirements or some early exits for some people who may just need a little bit of a nudge to go over to the retirement side and necessarily off the expense and payroll of the companies.
So AI is not going to impact sales jobs, but where are they impacting?
I think the first place you're seeing AI impact things, particularly on the property casualty side, is in the claims front. In particular, people now are using their phones to take pictures of a car accident, for example, And this is doing a few things. This is providing what they call first notice of loss faster. So now you know that you've been in an accident, you know how severe the accident is. You can now triage this. So this is just a small little bumper fender. We don't necessarily need to send someone 300 miles out of their way to go take a picture of this. The picture they did on the app was pretty well type stuff. You're seeing roughly about 30 to 40% of claims on the auto side come through on that right now, and a growing number. It's also helping with fraud detection. Things that, hey, this looks a little suspicious. Let's kind of investigate this a little bit faster. Let's get this a little bit sooner, type stuff. So you're getting a little bit of fraud detection on that side as well. The other big place you're seeing it right now is in customer service. Oftentimes when you go online, you think you see someone say a name there of, hi, I'm Jerry. I'd like to talk to you about your stuff. How can I help you? It's not really Jerry. It's a chat bot that you're actually talking to at that point in time. They're trying to steer you that way type stuff. So those are probably the two biggest areas that you're seeing AI impact the insurance industry right now.
Does the industry have any data on workforce projections in the next 15, 20 years based on how AI will reshape the insurance workforce?
The short answer is no. One thing I should point out too, and we're talking about AI, particularly over the long term, is insurance is heavily regulated, and it's heavily regulated on the state level. So what happens in Illinois isn't what happens in Indiana, which isn't what happens in Michigan and Wisconsin, et cetera. So it's really up to the state to determine what can and can't be done. And the more closely you are to impacting rates and customers, the more concerned regulators will be in terms of pursuing that to make sure there's no bias against anybody in the data. So you'll see more regulatory scrutiny at that point in time.
In the last 2 years, State Farm reported $20 billion in underwriting losses, yet its net worth in its latest annual report is the highest it's been at $145 billion. How should we assess the health of State Farm based on those data points?
Sure, it's a good question. So there's a couple points to kind of peel back the layer there. So first is you can look at underwriting losses, and you mentioned what those were. They're underwriting losses. So underwriting losses aren't good. You can't sustain those long term. But interestingly, you mentioned that the net worth is growing. So if you're having underwriting losses, how can net worth grow? The short answer is investment income. So with interest rates really high, they've been able to make money off the investment. So that's what's kind of causing its growth there. So obviously net worth going up is good. Ideally, you want to have that both from investment income as well as underwriting losses together, not just one of the two.
That was Jerry Glumbicki from Fitch Ratings speaking with WGLT's Eric Stock. You can read or listen to the rest of their conversation at WGLT.org. State Farm says they employ about 13,000 people in McLean County. The company spokesperson says they do not expect those numbers to change significantly. And that is it for today. I'm Ryan Denham. The show is produced by Cheyenne Brown. You can subscribe to The Leadoff on the NPR app or wherever you listen.